I am heckin' early. Hello, everyone. There's a reason for that I'll quickly get into. I'm like the monkey, the chocolate monkey in the milk. I ain't got much time. No. In case you're wondering how long I've been studying today, 6 hours. Exactly 6 hours. I got through 4 chapters. And you know, did like practice exams, did like quizzes and everything for it, so I feel pretty confident in those 4 chapters. Now the problem is that there's still two chapters left, and my exam is tomorrow. So ID has resorted to drastic measures. I've resorted to drastic measures. I know. I sent my mom away to my grandma's house. She's staying there now. I abschieben her. How do you say abschieben? I feel ignored. No, don't feel ignored. I haven't said hi to anyone yet. I know. What's the English word for abschieben? I know. I sent my mama to my grandma's house anyhow, so I've got the night to myself. And I plan on pulling an all-nighter. So I'm trying to not stream for too long today so that I can spend some time, hopefully maybe sleeping before my exam tomorrow. Oh, don't do that to yourself. Well, I'd rather do the 2 final chapters rather than not doing it. You know? It's fine. I've done all-nighters before. I have never fallen asleep during an exam after pulling an all-nighter. Anyhow, that is not the topic of the stream today. The topic is why I hate Disney remakes. So let's talk about Disney remakes instead. I love the new model though. I thank you. It's okay. Wait, we can make it even better. Chotto. There we go. Even better. Fitting for summer. Right. Let's get into Disney remakes, ne? Nah, that's too much. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll put it back. I'm sorry. There we go. That's not too much. So, I don't like Disney remakes. Frick Disney remakes. All my homies hate Disney remakes. How long are the exams anyway? An hour. The exam is an hour. Am I weird because I like the top? No, you're not. The top is nice too. It's a little Boba Cat. We can also put on the jacket if you'd like. I don't think anyone likes Disney remakes. You know, would be great. I think the person who needs to know that is Disney. Because they don't seem to know that. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep making them. Normies do. I mean, I don't see a world where I would, if I was like a middle-aged mom with a child, where I would rather go, hey, let's go to the cinema to watch the new Snow White, rather than just putting in like a video, like a DVD of the old Snow White. I mean, that one's so old you could even have it on cassette. So, you know, even if the remakes, for the few that aren't outright bad, you know, remakes that, some of the Disney remakes that many people don't consider to be like atrocious, I still don't think that they're better than the original. I know, it starts with the art anyhow. Because Disney remakes, they're remaking they're remaking these classic animation movies as live action. And I don't see a reason for that to begin with. I do not see a reason for that to begin with. Because... like, why? They're children's movies. They are children's movies. You know, like with anime or whatever, there's like a crowd. Arigato ne. Thank you, 6. Ito, me driving, but what's Ari's most hated Disney remake? Which one do I hate the most? When it comes to visuals, the Lion King remake. When it comes to visuals, the Lion King remake. God, that thing freaked me out. When it comes to plot, probably between the Snow White one and the Little Mermaid one. You know, when it comes to live action movies, when it's like movies for a mature audience, some people will be like, oh, animation is too childish, so these kind of movies should be live action, which I disagree with that. I don't think that's true, but some people think that way, and okay, they can argue that, sure, if they'd rather see a live action movie, sure. But why do children need to see a live action movie? Why can't children see an animated movie? Why do children have to see dwarf CGI slop, fish CGI slop, Stitch CGI slop? My theory, my personal theory why they're doing it that way is because the CGI slop is gonna look dated 20 years from now. And then they'll be like, oh, these movies look so dated. Guess it's time for another remake, huh? Oh, you know the meme with the skinny cow, and it's like, oh, it's time for a milking. That is my suspicion why I think they're choosing to do so much like cheap CGI. Well, it's not cheap, which is even more atrocious, but it's gonna look cheap in 20 years from now. Why they're doing that with the CGI, so that in 20 years they can go, oh wow, the Snow White movie, yup, it needs a new one, buy our tickets, buy stuff. I think that's what they're doing it. Counterpoint, when I was a kid, any day I went to the cinema was a good day, even with awful movies. All a child needs for happiness is popcorn and something that doesn't put them to sleep. Now, I agree with that to some extent. Like, children will watch anything you give them and they'll be happy as long as the experience around it is nice. If you sit down with a child and give it its favorite snack while watching Coco Melon, the child will also be happy. But that doesn't mean that you should, you know? Just because children will watch slop shouldn't mean you should make slop for the children. You know, it's like just because children will eat like a sweet paste that just tastes vaguely of strawberry doesn't mean you should feed that to them. Right? Like, just because the target audience is children and they will consume a lot of bad things if you let them, doesn't mean that we should allow studios to be lazy and give bad movies and bad content to children just because they can get away with it. That is why I think critiquing such movies, even though they're for children and children will probably like them at least a little bit, is, you know, that I think that's why it's valid, right? Oh no, I'm not saying you should, but if I were hypothetically a producer of very cheap slop, well, at that point we could send children to the movie theater to, you know, watch Coco Melon. That would have the same educational impact. Yeah, and I think it's very sad if I look at what kind of children's shows are on TV right now. I feel like, wow, this is so different from what I watched growing up. Not because like the visuals are different, which they are. I mean, the visuals nowadays, they look very plasticky, very manufactured. Like back then, every show kind of had its unique aesthetic and art style. Nowadays, they're kind of all going for the kind of corporate look. But also the complexity of topics in children's shows, I feel like has gone down a lot. And that's kind of sad. Because children understand more than you think. And if they're exposed to complex topics and complex morals early on, it'll be easier for them later on. And that's also why I don't think you could like skip out on morals for children's movies. Because they're also supposed to be educational, you know? You know? Like for example gosh, I only know the movie name in German. In German, it's der Glöckner von Notre Dame. I almost said the Glöckner, but that's not it. Der Glöckner from Notre Dame. Oh gosh. In English, isn't it Quasimodo? That's his name. But I don't know what the movie title is in English. But how that movie teaches you to not judge others. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Exactly, that's the English title. Yeah, how that movie teaches you to not be judgmental on others based on their appearance and things like that. And when it comes to morals, I was just about to get into that. I think the Lilo and Stitch remake. First of all, I do not understand so many of the decisions they made. The movie just looks ugly. In my opinion, the movie looks ugly. Just because they make everything so gray for the sake of more realism. For the sake of more realistic CGI, the movie looks so colorless when you compare it to the original. Like Stitch is kind of a depressive kind of gray blue rather than just being blue, you know? The same goes for the Little Mermaid. All the fish looked horribly ugly, and the ocean looked horribly ugly, and Ariel didn't even look like a colorful, fun mermaid. They just made everything gray for the sake of more realism. It's a children's movie, it can be colorful, don't be shy, put some colors in there. But with the Lilo and Stitch movie, they changed a lot of things, like who's the villain of the movie, and also they changed the ending. You know, in the original Lilo and Stitch, it's the ending is very nice. I love the ending. It's such a fun little montage of them all hanging out with Stitch, going surfing together, having fun together. And then the ending of the movie is like, goodbye, Lilo. Goodbye, Lilo. I am leaving you. I am leaving you to go study. Cry about it. I don't get it. What was the whole point of Ohana is family? I just, you know, I understand that, like, maybe they were like, oh, we should make something different so that people can't say it's just a lazy remake. We're changing stuff. But then why change that? Of all the things, why change that? I feel like maybe they were trying to be feminist with it. Maybe they were like, oh, she doesn't need to raise her little sister. She can go off and be a girl boss and study. She doesn't need to take care of her family. Maybe they were going for that kind of angle? But I think that's kind of depressing. Shouldn't they have gone for like oh, there was a school program near here and now we can be together, or we're moving together, you know, something like that. Something like that, because I feel like it promotes the idea that women have to give up their family to do anything in life. It's like, oh, you like your family, you want to take care of a family? Well, no, you have to be girl boss. Say goodbye to your family. Which I don't think is right to promote. Like, why would you tell little children, oh, well, you have to go study, you have to go work, it's okay, just leave your family. It's okay. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? If you were gonna be unrealistic about it, just tell the children, oh, look, they could go together. You can always find a way to do the things you love while being with the people you love. I think the thought that you have to leave your family and you have to give up on caring for other people just to further your own success is a very questionable a very questionable moral to be teaching to children. I think it's questionable. Yeah. But that's that for Lilo and Stitch. Let's get on to the movie. The Disney remake that people think about when people say Disney remakes. The Snow White remake. Sorry, I have to laugh just thinking about it. Cause like, Snow White was one of Disney's most successful properties ever. That was like Disney's like big movie for so many centuries. How did they mess it up so bad? How? That's like taking a diamond from its case and just smashing it a bunch of times. How do you even do that without intending to? How? First of all, that movie was a mess since its inception. As soon as stuff from it leaked, everyone hated it, and so they scrambled to quote-unquote fix it. But they didn't fix anything, so... I mean, what were they trying to do? What were they trying to do? I don't understand. Who was sitting in that director's board and said yes? Release this movie, great movie, wonderful movie. I don't understand. And I hope that like the financial side of it made them cry. I hope it did. Because they deserve it. They deserve it. Let them taste at least a little bit. That they cannot make awful, awful, awful movies, completely ruin the promotions, and get money for it too. They should not learn that. It should have already happened with the previous movies, but... well, they were directed at children, so they still made a little bit of money. But I hope that they got like the biggest punch of their life and hopefully canceled a couple of projects in the works. I don't see why they thought it was a good idea. Coming to the visuals, the movie looks bad. I mean, that's not a secret. When it comes to Disney remakes, they look bad because the originals were fine. The originals were good. The original Snow White is one of my favorite Disney movies in terms of visuals. That one and Tangled. Because it has such a lovely, lovely aesthetic. And the artwork is so nice. So nice. Very indicative of the quality that initially made Disney famous. Because it's hand-drawn. and it looks fun. And the princess is pretty, and the characters, the dwarves are fun, and I loved it as a child. I had like all the dwarves as little dolls, and the princess as dolls. So that is once again a case of it didn't need a real life meets CGI remake. It didn't need that. The animation was completely fine. And a lot of the whimsical, fun elements just look so washed and uncanny valley when you try to make them CGI instead of animation. So it looks bad. It looks bad. I also do not agree with the casting choice. That was not it for me. Not it for me. You're Disney, you have a ton of money. So much money. Why Rachel Zegler? Why her? She is not known as a particularly great actress. She doesn't look the part at all. She's not a very great singer. And she did not act professionally when it came to the movie's promotional period. She constantly picked fights. That's just a PR disaster for any company. So, if you're a studio with so much money, prepared to sink so much money into a movie, why are you getting an actress who's not even well known for acting too well and doesn't look the part? I will never understand. They could have had anyone. They could have had any famous actress. But they made choices. They made choices I don't understand. Also, the costuming was very bad. God, the costuming was bad. Oh, whoever did her costuming was not doing her any favors. I saw her in the Hunger Games movie. And she looked much better there. But they put that, I don't know, I hope it was a wig, that like short wig on her. And she looked like Forquad. She reminded me of an Oompa Loompa. 'Cause they have the similar hairstyle. Why? Who saw that styling and was like, yeah, we'll sell many dolls of that. Yup, that looks great. And her costume, her dress, her princess dress, looks like something I could have bought for Halloween. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I saw the Dinklage controversy, which obviously I don't know. I don't have a strict position on it as someone who doesn't have that condition, who wasn't born that way, so I'm also not an actor, so I wouldn't know. But I always think it's so weird when people first do something and then they say no one else can do it anymore. When they go, oh, I can do it, but now no one else can do it anymore. Like, you know, I don't really see it. He picked a very odd hill to die on, especially considering these were dwarves, as in mythical creatures. Yeah, it's also like one of the very few roles that little people get that they can use to have a breakout success like him, right? Because there are many little people actors that would like to have a chance, but well, guess not. Guess not. Yeah. But yeah. I'm just gonna say I don't understand it. Obviously, different people will have different opinions on it. I just think that the thing they ultimately went with for the movie looked bad. I also think that the seven people who were not dwarves that they initially had in their plans was even weirder. I'm glad they did not go with that. That would have been even stranger. Oh, Snow White goes into the forest and she finds 7 people. 7 people who do not share any traits. They are 7 very diverse people. Tall people, short people, female people, male people. 7 people. No, I don't see it. I know. But wait, I had a thought. It slipped me. Huh. Snow White and the 7 random forest dwellers. Exactly. Snow White and the 7 tooths. Pretty much. Alright, I remembered. I think that it's such a shame because the giant amount of money for those horrendous movies, they could have gone to making other movies. You know? Like, for example, take The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid remake. If Disney truly cared about showing black characters, maybe they should have picked up a fairy tale that features black characters and made that into a movie. If they really cared about showing girl bosses, they could have picked up a modern story that shows girl bosses. They didn't need to change original material. If they really, really, really cared about those things, then they would have just done that. Rather than just cheaply being like, oh, this is our popular movie, but she's a girl boss now. Guys, don't you see that she's a girl boss now? Yeah. We care about, we at Disney, we care about girl bosses. We do. Yeah. The story? Exactly the same, except she's a girl boss now. How is she girl boss? She says once in the movie that she doesn't need a man. She says that, yeah. She's a girl boss. I don't get it. Just make a new IP. I do not understand. No, I do not. It's just lazy. It's just ultimately lazy, and I don't understand why they're doing it. They're very much virtue signaling. But I don't even think that they hold those positions that they claim to hold. I don't really think that a bunch of like old studio execs at Disney are like, ah, yes, it must be our mission. It must be our mission to show all the diversity. We really care about it. They don't care about it. So why do they act like they care about it? You'd say it's just for the money, but the movies have been bombing anyways. So they should have just got the hint. They should have just got the hint that this doesn't really appeal to anyone. Because people who don't agree with those practices, well, they're not gonna watch the movie. And they're gonna hate on it. Right? And people who do agree with these new values that they're trying to portray, well, they can probably see through the fact that this is just a cheap grab at being like, hey, we are just like you. We care for the same things you do. So, I mean, as a woman, as a professional woman, is this a dedicated rant stream? Yes. As a professional woman, as a professional XX chromosome haver, I don't feel pandered to. I do not feel pandered to. I watched the, the Captain Marvel movie, and I hated it. I did not like it. I thought it was a bad movie. I did not like the protagonist at all. So, I'm the kind of crowd that these movies are supposed to be appealing to. But I don't think they're appealing. Older movies were just fine. They didn't need changing. Oh god, She-Hulk. 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 She-Hulk was just... She-Hulk was... If I tried to make a parody, I could not have done it better. If it was a parody, it would have been an overdone parody. But it wasn't a parody, so it's just sad. So it's just sad. I saw the twerking scene and I thought that was like a fake. I was like, oh yeah, you know, it's just a meme. It wasn't. It was not. That was a great realization. But I don't know what told Marvel that they needed to go in that direction. I do not know. Because Marvel had female characters that everyone loved. And when these movies came out and people didn't like them, a lot of people and a lot of journalists were like, oh, people hate women. How dare you hate women? People just hate women. There was so many female popular Marvel characters who were super cool and so beloved by the fandom. People loved Black Widow. People loved Wanda. So, the issue is not that people hate women. The issue was just that the movies were bad and the characters were not likable. Oh god, you reminded me of the scene from She-Hulk where she's like, well, what you don't understand is I'm perfect at managing my anger because I'm a woman. I have to struggle and deal with so much every day. So that is why I'm a better Hulk than you. How did they write that? How did they write that? Did whoever wrote that never see any of the past movies? How do you go, oh no, I'm a woman. My life is so hard. You would not know what it's like to have a hard life. To Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner. Bruce, I tried to end my own life because it was so miserable. After becoming the Hulk Banner. How? Who wrote that? Who wrote that? Why did they do that? Who proofread that and was like, yup. Sounds about right. Interesting. Interesting choice. If you paid me $20, I could have wrote a better series. If you gave me $20, I would have done better than that. Yeah. but that's that for that. Yeah. I don't think they care about making a good movie, about making likable characters. Because a lot of these movies, I hated the main characters. That's not supposed to be the case. You're supposed to like the main characters. You're supposed to be like, wow, that's such a stand-up guy, such a nice guy. Arigato ne. Thank you so much, Six. Hontoni arigato. Well, no message. Was that written during the writer's strike? I would not be surprised, but I don't think it matches up timing-wise. Unfortunately. Yeah. Strange. Very, very strange. So, I hope that Disney, like, got their final just slap across the face and decides to not do that anymore. Hopefully? Because no one wants it. No one wants it anyways. The quality of movies and shows has just gone down. At least the like popular or big studio ones. It's kind of like game quality. From big studios, they make a lot of good stuff and then they start pumping out the heckin' EA and Bethesda and Blizzard. Slop. Absolute slop. And I hope that all of these greedy executives who think that they can give people slop and still get their money just realize that that's not the case. Yeah. They cancelled a lot of Marvel stuff. They did. I think there was supposed to be a second part of the Eternals, right? There was supposed to be a second part of the Eternals. I think they cancelled that. I think they definitely cancelled that. Yeah. I just like good movies again. My god. We will never reach the peak that was Lord of the Rings movies. We will never reach that again. And that is sad. But it's okay, because I was born in a good time where I got to watch those movies when I was younger. I was born at a good time. At least I don't have to grow up with Disney slop. At least I grew up watching the old Snow White and not new Disney slop. Anywho, that is probably the main part of my rant. I did say I didn't want to stream too long today because I gotta get back to studying and I completely forgot about that while talking. Arigato! Thank you, Setsan. Like Rings of Power, right? Rings of Power slop. Rings of Power, the most expensive slop I've ever seen. It is diamond encrusted slop for how expensive it was. Diamond encrusted slop. Diamonds that could have fed many people for many generations put into slop. The fact that they paid so much for that is atrocious. Absolutely atrocious, but we are not getting into Rings of Power right now. Otherwise, I am spending the next 6 hours here instead of studying. Yeah. Nemo, thank you for coming by, everyone. Which is worse, Rings of Power or Golem Game? At least with Golem Game, everyone knew it was kind of gonna be shite. But with Rings of Power, people had hopes. I had hopes, and they were disappointed, so I picked Rings of Power. Oh, Nip. I'll see you. I'll tell you how my exam goes tomorrow, okay? I said it. Oh, thank you, Borbius. Until we get more good movies, my money goes to VTubers. One ID stream is worth 10 modern Disney movies. Absolute cinema! Thank you so much! Wow. Arigato ne. Yeah, Disney sucks. That's the moral of today's stream. I hope you remember it, okay? Now go watch some Cocomelon. Aristeru, I'll tell you tomorrow how my exam went. If you hear me crying, then you know the answer. Aristeru, bye bye. Mwah. Ciao.